Hello people, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time on the channel, a special welcome to you. I ask that you check out the rest of my videos. If you like what you see, give them a thumbs up, leave a comment, but more than anything, I'm asking that you subscribe to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about more light-hearted stuff. Today I'm going to be talking about Kingston, Jamaica, and what I believe to be its most undervalued landmark. But before I get into the video, let me make a declaration. I am a Jamaican by birth, and other than being a Jamaican, I'm a Kingstonian. So by saying that, what I mean is that geographically, of all the parishes in Jamaica, Kingston and St Andrew are the ones that I know the best. And I know the best of Kingston and St Andrew first and from growing up in Kingston and St Andrew and roaming the streets of St Andrew and Kingston. When I say roaming, I mean going back and forth to school, treading downtown, uptown with my mom, and so on and so forth. So not in the sense of just roaming as a wayward kid or anything like that. So I've decided to emphasize on what I believe is the most underrated landmark in Kingston, Jamaica, for one reason. A lot of politicians declare their love for the country of Jamaica, but let's face it, when it comes to promoting Jamaica and its landmark, where politicians are concerned, if it's not an area or a landmark that is going to generate them some fun, especially from the tourism, it's kind of ignored and it's kind of overlooked. But at the same time, there's certain areas in Jamaica and certain things that are in Jamaica which Jamaicans, local Jamaicans especially, consider to be a staple in their neighborhood that should be recognized because it has sentimental value or sentimental meaning to them, and so on and so forth. And for that reason, I am gonna highlight a landmark which means something to me, and I'm sure it means a lot to most Jamaicans and almost all Kingstonians. I mean, Google landmark in Kingston and you will come up on Devon House, Emancipation Park, Bob Marley Museum, and so on and so forth. And it's all good, but those don't quite cover the areas of Kingston. I'm not saying that's the only landmark you'll find, but I would say those are the top 3 landmarks that you'll find. And of all those 3 landmarks, Devon House is the oldest, which was established in 1881. Bob Marley Museum was in 1987, and Emancipation Park was just the other day, 2002. But the attention that I'm drawing to you guys today is really downtown Kingston. Downtown Kingston, I understand it's not being either promoted because of one reason or another, or because of the development or the direction which the government believed the country should go in. Kingston, Jamaica is the capital of the country of Jamaica. And as a child growing up, I remember when Kingston, Jamaica was the place. It was like we Kingstonian were considered like the more modern Jamaicans. Rightly so, because at the same time, the reason for that, it was almost everything of importance were located in Kingston, where business offices concerning, where head offices concerning, whether that's a passport office, House of Parliament, Bank of Jamaica, Norman Manley International Airport, everything was like based in Kingston. And Kingstonians were the first to receive or have their hands on technology as technology was increasing. So coming from Kingston, all Kingstonian had a little chip of bragging right for the simple fact that they were born in Kingston and they were raised in Kingston. Over the time, obviously that has changed, and Jamaica's 14 parishes have gradually equated themselves, or at the moment currently equating themselves to be up to par with Kingston. So what I'm saying is Kingston is no longer the mainstream. It is mainstream, probably just a little edge, but what I'm saying, there are other parishes in Jamaica today that are on par with Kingston, Jamaica. So I'm going to start with landmarks downtown Kingston, and I'm going to leave the most underrated landmark for last. I'm going to start with the waterfront. I believe most Jamaicans should know that the waterfront in Jamaica is infamous worldwide. Why? Because it represents the 7th largest natural harbor in the world, and that's something for Jamaicans to be proud of. I mean, it's 7th, but hey, that is still big for us. I remember being downtown Kingston. For all you Jamaicans who remember the hotel called Intercontinental Hotel, it was a hotel close to the waterfront. It was also down that area where Jamaica used to have a television program, a musical program called Where It's At. I believe it was Beverly Manley who hosted Where It's At. Another landmark downtown Kingston is the Ward Theatre. And the Ward Theatre is a staple of downtown Kingston, which was established as far back as 1912. And other than Ward Theatre, there's another landmark which have some personal connection with myself. Kingston Parish Church. Kingston Parish Church was established in 1911. Believe it or not, I used to attend Kingston Parish Church. Even though I'm not Catholic, I was a Boy Scout, and a part of my scouting arrangement by my skipper is that we had to attend Kingston Parish Church every first Sunday of the month. So I'm familiar with the outside and the inside of Kingston Parish Church. The next landmark in downtown Kingston is St. William Grant Park, which I knew as Victoria Park. I didn't even realize that it was renamed to St. William Grant Park. So I've always referred to it as Victoria Park. And if you guys watch this video till the end, I've got a funny story to tell you about an experience I've had in that park. On to my next landmark, that is the downtown Kingston, which I think is a staple of downtown Kingston, is the Coronation Market, of course. It has a deep connection with most people that live in Kingston and St Andrew, and it also has a great connection, an intimate connection to people of other parishes, because that's where the people from other parishes used to come and with their produce and agricultural food and yam and banana and tomatoes and scallion and thyme. You know, the Coronation Market means a lot to me. My mom used to drag me there every Saturday morning early to get the best food and fruits. And I remember as a kid, you know, I just knew every time I go to Coronation Market, I will be sneezing, because that's where people used to be bagging out their black peppers and all the seasoning in the hair. And my eyes would just be red. I would just be sneezing walking through that market. But I still go with my mom, because at the end of the day, she always give me some consolation incentive prize, whether that's a patty or sky juice or whatever. So yeah, Coronation Market, a staple in downtown Kingston, and it's got its fair share of recognition. But unfortunately, as I was researching Coronation Market, guess what, people? I could not find any information on Coronation Market. I couldn't even find information as to when it was built or anything on its background. I mean, I knew it when I was a child, and I have a feeling that it was there way before my time. So if you guys have any insights on Coronation Market or any links, just drop it in the comment section, because I couldn't find anything in Coronation Market, and I thought that was a bit disappointing, and Jamaican government needs to get up on their information. I mean, whether or not it's making you guys money, it's information for the Jamaican people, especially the younger Jamaicans. One other thing that is a staple of downtown Kingston, if you're talking about Coronation Market, you have to include the Handcart Man. Everybody that goes to downtown Kingston or uses the market to buy their food supplies or whatever has to have encountered a handcart man. I was actually surprised and a little disappointed to learn recently from watching a Jamaican video that the handcart man now has to have a license plate. So they're actually charged a type of tax to operate their handcart. I'm on the fence with that. I'm not so sure if that knowledge went down with me very well. I mean, I understand it's a hustle. I also understand that Jamaica is trying to get on its straight and narrow, and it wants everybody that's making a earning to contribute towards the tax system. In the long run, I could see where the everyday citizens will eventually benefit if everything goes financially right as I've put it in my head. But at the same time, I need to ponder on that one some more. Anyway, guys, you can also tell me what you think about handcart operators having to pay the government money to push their carts. Now on to what I believe to be the most undervalued landmark of Kingston, Jamaica. But before I do that, I'm going to ask you guys if you see it in this picture. Or do you see it in this one? Look closely. Can you see it in this one? No. Definitely you won't see it in this one, because it was a hard search for me to find anything that actually showed that landmark. The landmark that I'm referring to, the most undervalued landmark of Kingston, Jamaica, is Big Tree. Everybody that visits Kingston, Jamaica knows of Big Tree. It's been a meeting point for many people. It's been a reference in many directions downtown. You know, I mean, Big Tree is right there in the bus park, but it is a landmark that has been referred to for so many years. But not many people know anything about this tree. I've decided to do this video because I was having a conversation with my wife and I referred to Big Tree, and I just kind of thought, how old is Big Tree? It has to be, I don't know, my guess would put it at about 100 years, 150 years, maybe older. So the most undervalued landmark of Kingston, Jamaica, in my opinion, is the Big Tree, because it has played so many roles in so many people's lives in Jamaica, but it's never been promoted. It's never been promoted by the government, not to my knowledge anyway. It's never been promoted as a part of Jamaica, but all Jamaicans who have traveled and lived in Kingston are aware of this Big Tree. I understand. I mean, searching the internet and searching in Google Maps, it was a very hard task for me to even get a shot of the tree, because it's overrun with vendors and it's so crowded and clustered. But despite that fact, I'm not going to get into that fact. Despite that fact, the Big Tree in Jamaica is the most undervalued landmark for me. I mean, when you Google Big Tree, you will see a variety of big trees worldwide. And I thought to myself, Kingston, Jamaica's Big Tree should be in that lineup. Unfortunately, I don't have a photograph of the Big Tree downtown to insert in this vlog. And I'm going to throw it out there. If any of my viewers or subscribers find themselves downtown and in a position where they could take a picture of their tree, please do so for me and send it to my email. Since I'm in the position where I do writing and I cover issues concerning a variety of things in my bloggings, I will take the time out to do a blog for Jamaica and feature the Big Tree and if you guys want to even give your commentaries about what you believe about the big tree, or say anything, what the big tree means to you, whether you think it's relevant or irrelevant, and I could also substantiate my blog with your commentary. So yeah, that could be a little thing that we get up to. Anyway, people, let me know if you agree with me that big tree in downtown Kingston is Jamaica's, not Jamaica's, but Kingston's most undervalued landmark. And at the same time, for the other parishes in Jamaica, like I say, geographically, when it comes to Kingston, Jamaica, I am king with knowledge. But for the rest of the country, nah, I'm not so great. So if there's a landmark in your area in Jamaica that you believe is underrated or undervalued or never promoted, for the simple fact that it only have a significant meaning to the local people and nothing to do with tourism, let me know what it is. Help me to understand Jamaica with a wider scope, because like I say, I'm Jamaican, I'm from Jamaica, but I don't know all of Jamaica, and I don't know everything that's going on in Jamaica. Now, I believe that you guys have made it to the end of the video. So here's the joke that I have to tell you about St. William Grange Park, which was formerly Victoria Park. When I was a child, I had to be about 7, 8 years old. I had a cousin that worked at an ice cream store downtown Kingston, not so far from the big tree. I believe it was either Crazy Jim or Creamy Corner or Mother's. I can't remember, but I know it was one of those stores my cousin worked in. And I stopped by one day to see her, and she gave me ice cream on a cone. After I said my goodbyes, I'm about to go to the bus stop, so I decided to walk through what was then Victoria Park. Licking my ice cream, I just imagined that the delight was all over my face. Everybody could see that I'm happy with this ice cream in Kingston, Jamaica's heat. This little boy approached me as I was walking through the park, and he asked me for a lick. You Jamaicans know what I mean. He was actually asking me, could he get 2 licks off my ice cream? As a young man, I wasn't thinking about germs. I wasn't thinking about anything. My mother always says I'm too kind, and I have to learn to say no to people. But me being me, I decided he looks hungry. I could give him 2 licks off my ice cream. I mean, we're about the same age. So I gave this boy my ice cream to get a lick off my ice cream. Within a flash, the next thing I know is this boy was just running away. I looked around and I could just see his shirt tail in the wind heading down King Street. The boy stole my ice cream. And every time I hear about Victoria Park or St. William Grange Park, I remember that ice cream. Anyway, people, that was my unfortunate experience. That was my experience of being robbed in downtown Kingston. But there you go. It is a story that stayed with me. No ill feeling about, no ill feeling now. I was mad when it happened back then, but yeah, no ill feeling at the moment, it's history. Anyway, people, let me know what you guys think of this vlog. Like I always say on my channel, I welcome thumbs up, thumbs down. I welcome agreement or disagreement, because on this channel, each one teach one. Until next time, people, peace.